hopefully the audio is picking up because I'm using this DJI mic. I wanted to do this a little different. There's no guest. I'm the only guest. But I did want to go over and talk about some things that are changing in the podcast. Nothing much, right? I just haven't recorded a couple episodes in a while, even though I do have a couple episodes in the bank. I'm going to try to keep this short and with an explanation, of course. First of all, I got this little new camera, so this is cool. It's my vlogging camera, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. I definitely want people who are coming to the podcast to continue to listen to the episodes that we have. There's already about 60 episodes that I have already recorded. There's topics between finance, health, fitness, dealing with grief. There's episodes where I go back to Mexico and I learn a little bit more about my culture. There's a ton of episodes that I'm sure one of them you'll find and enjoy and like. What I also want to talk about is this YouTube channel. I want to grow it. I want to continue to push to where my old YouTube channel was. I had way more subscribers there. I had way more engagement there, and I'm trying to build this back up. One of the reasons why I deleted the old YouTube channel, I'm trying to get comfortable in this chair. I know it's very awkward for those viewing me on YouTube, is it didn't allow me to monetize. Obviously, as many people who are trying to be content creators, whether it be on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, monetization is obviously very important as you start growing your audience. So when I grew my audience large enough on YouTube, YouTube was like, yo, you can't monetize for X amount of reasons. And it literally took me 6 years going back and forth with Google because there's no designated person that you can email. You kind of have to email Google on its own. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and restart. YouTube has this new policy where you have to have a minimum of 3 videos uploaded in the last 90 days. You have to have about 4,000 hours of watched content. So that means you who are listening, you who are watching, have to listen to about 4,000 hours within a 365-day span period. And I also have to have 1,000 subscribers. Hence why I'm trying to at least get to one of those goals, the 1,000 subscriber count. So at the time of this recording, which is September 2nd, I think I have like 354. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you head on over to YouTube, subscribe on my channel, Jose Quintero TV. Because I definitely want to incorporate this duality of Spotify and YouTube content. And if you're listening because of the title, it's true. Me fui. No, I'm just kidding. No me voy. Me fui de mi trabajo. Why I quit my job. And I know the title could be a little bit misleading because you're probably thinking my current job in radio, but it's not. It's not my current job that I left. And I want to kind of retrace because as I'm about to hit 7 years in radio, time flies. And I want to go back to that decision that I made, that risk that I made when I decided to quit my job while I was working at a university, while I was miserable, not doing what I loved. And I want to go and hopefully encourage you because so many of us don't follow our dreams. So many of us are probably stuck. So many of us are financially stuck, career stuck. And we don't know if we should take a leap of faith and go to that next level and that next step. And I remember ever since I was young, ever since I can remember watching novelas with my family, seeing El Gordo y la Flaca, I wanted to work in entertainment industry. I wanted to work as an actor. I wanted to do all that, but unfortunately I didn't have the resources that a lot of people in the industry have, esas palancas. And even if you have the palancas, now that I'm in the industry myself, maintaining your work ethic and kind of pushing through all the BS can be a little complicated if you already grew up in this industry. But yes, you do have some level of access, but that's a whole different topic. But anywho, I was working at middle school, high school, loved working with the kids, hated the managerial aspect of what that field entitled because it was all number-based, research-based. Obviously, anything that is grant-related is always going to want numbers in order for you to keep that grant. Unfortunately, it wasn't the type of desire and passion that I wanted. It was merely a paycheck for me. The students, great, and I still have an amazing rapport with some of them to this day, 7 years later, now that they're in college, because I started with these kids since they were in middle school. They were in 7th grade, so I was with them 7th, 8th, and a little bit of 9th grade. But I remember every time I would go with these students, I would tell them my dreams and aspirations. 7th graders, 8th graders, and I myself was 23, 24. You know, I was still a kid myself trying to mentor these kids. So it was definitely interesting, to say the least, to navigate through that. But if you're listening to this and if you went to a Royal middle school, if you went to San Bernardino High School, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. And I clearly remember the conversations that I had with many of you when you guys asked, hey, so what do you want to do? Is this your dream, Mr. Jose? Because he used to call me Mr. Jose. And I said, no, this isn't my dream. My dream is to work at Univision. My dream is to work in the entertainment industry. And every opportunity that I had, I took it when I got to speak in front of parents because I knew I wanted to go into the Spanish media, right? So there was obviously a niche where so many people didn't know how to speak Spanish as well as I did at the time. I'm not saying they didn't know how to speak Spanish. That's a phone call, y'all. But I will pick that up later. But I was saying, I took that opportunity and the kids saw it, but I was always sincere with them and I was always telling them, I want to work for Univision. I want to be on television. And it was such a beautiful thing to see their faces and see, you know, how much hope that I had, that hopefully I inspired some of that onto them. But I remember while I was working at that middle school, I got the opportunity and I was volunteering for Univision for about 2 years. So while I was at that job, I was volunteering for Univision. I was getting my master's degree, so it kind of fit perfectly. But I knew I personally had a timeline. I was like, God, if by 25 I'm not working in the industry, fuck it. I'm going to work elsewhere. I'm going to let that dream slide. I was literally hitting rock bottom, you could say. But I remember I was volunteering. I was applying. I did like 3-4 job interviews with them, and I was applying for like a sales position. I was applying for a coordinator position, and none of that was working. I was getting denied, even though I already knew the people working there. So I didn't know what was wrong. But I remember I did a campaign for voting, I believe, and that came out on Univision 34. And I remember like the kids would be like, oh my God, we saw you on TV, Mr. Jose. The parents were like, oh my God, you're famous. And it was like, it reignited that passion I had for the industry or the entertainment industry. And I kid you not, because of those students, I started doing YouTube. And obviously I closed down my old YouTube account, but if you look back in my very first video that I did, and I'll probably eventually post it. If you guys want me to post it, I'll post it, right? I was literally pretending that I was a reporter for El Gordo y la Flaca. I bought myself a teleprompter and I wrote my own script, and I was like, all right, via my phone. No, it was my iPad. I had the iPad and I would just push play and I would run behind the camera and I would start reading like I was a reporter, and I uploaded that because that was me practicing being in front of a camera. But when I said, and in this title, I left my job to follow my dreams, I got a call after doing YouTube 6-7 months on my own, just kind of practicing. I got a call from Univision and they said, hey, we have this opportunity for you. Would you like to apply? And I'm like, sure, yeah, like I've already been applying. What's one more? I was literally 24 at the time, and this was May. And I'm like, October's coming up. I'm gonna be 25 in October. That is my timeline. And I don't know about you. I know a lot of women because I have a lot of female friends who say, I have a timeline for like when I want to get engaged, when I want to get married, when I want to have kids, etc. I had that timeline, and I don't know if many men do that, where I'm like, I want to be in this job by this age. I want to make X amount of money by this age. I want to do this and that, right? So I was very strict on myself. I probably shouldn't have been very cruel to myself. Then again, I was. I got the job, I got the call. And I remember making that decision. It was so quick. But after I hung up, I was like, how am I going to tell these kids? How am I going to tell these kids, like, I'm leaving, me voy, me les voy, no sé qué decirles, cómo les voy a explicar esto? Y el día siguiente lo tuve que hacer. Y sus caras, I will never forget their faces. And they were smiling, they were happy, they were cheering me on, and I was so surprised. I was like, why are you guys happy? And they're like, Mr. Jose, you're chasing your dreams. You're going to go out and chase your dreams like you've been saying for the past 3 years. You've been manifesting it. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. So I made this video real quick. Audio video. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you share both, right? So my future self can see this. So those students that were in Arroyo Middle School and San Bernardino High School see this 7 years later, that I'm still here. I'm still following my dreams. I'm working in radio, and so many more things are coming, and I know they're coming. So chase your dreams. Literally, I was at a point of hitting rock bottom where I was just applying, but I kept pushing, and they literally said, or they literally have said, the point of you reaching success is literally right behind that point where you want to give it all up. And I was at the point of giving it all up, and I'm glad I didn't, and I hope you don't. And I hope this is a reminder that if you have an idea, if you have, I don't know, want to quit your job and want to start a YouTube channel, want to start a podcast, do it. I want to shout out, because I know he did this, Saul from IE and Friends. He literally said, I want to do a podcast. I want to make it successful. His timeline was 6 months, because he literally quit his job and he's like, I can get another one. It doesn't matter. But he took the risk on himself. So I'm asking you today to take that risk on yourself. And I'm hoping that if you watch this, you're getting motivated. I'm hoping that ideas are running through your head. I'm hoping you start that YouTube channel, you start that podcast, you start posting content on social media. Whatever the idea may be, manifest it, do it, but just start it. I've been blessed to be the type of person to, hey, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I need to do it within a small period of time, right? Because if I lag, I'm not going to do it. Y literalmente con mis amigos yo les he dicho, oye, hay que grabar esto, hay que hacer lo otro, and I do it within that week. And they're always like, dang, Jose, you do things quick. Es que si no los hago ahorita, a rato no los voy a hacer. Y no me gusta quedarme con las ganas, y no me gusta quedarme with the what if. So I hope you don't live life with the what if. What if I would have started my business? What if I would have started a podcast? What if I would have started a YouTube channel? No te quedes con ese what if. And start and follow your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe, view the other videos, view this video. I don't know which one's popping up on here. Or if you're on the podcast, listen to the episodes below. Just click next, all right? Sale. Hasta la próxima, bombos. I think I'm going to start calling you bombos. Side note, bombos is something endearing that my uncle used to call me, so y'all are endearing to me. Anyways, peace out, bombos.